are talking about moving through your bladder cancer experience. And it's not just physical, it's mental, it's emotional. And if you don't exercise, you know that saying, you don't use it, you lose it? That applies across the board, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
I'm really delighted to help kind of manage outcomes from treatments with our two experts that are here now, right now. The tall guy is Scott Erickson. He is here with exercise professional, the very slightly less tall guy, because they're both taller than me, Mark Block, and they're
Nice
going
to
to
meet you.
talk about why it's important to be physically and mentally fit during treatment and how you can incorporate movement into your everyday life and how exercise can affect stress management and mental well-being after your bladder cancer diagnosis. It's an active participation. We are in a crowded room, so I want you to just be aware of your physical surroundings. Don't hurt the next person at the table. But keep it contained, but we have things for you to do. But what I first want to do before I let you guys introduce yourselves is I have a couple of questions that we put together. So why don't you guys have a seat
All
for a
right.
little bit?
Thank you.
And let's do the questions. Remember Slido? It's back. So take out your phone and let's see if we can get 100% participation for everybody in the room. So take out your phone, get back on the Slido, and let's see what you say about the next questions. Everybody got it? Okay, come on. Everybody's on the Slido, right? Okay, take a picture of that little square. Touch it on your phone. Okay.
I went through the website, forgetting that there was a QR code up there.
I just want to make sure everybody's got it. Just want to get some feedback. You know, it's a really nice way to see what you're thinking.
It's saying there are no active polls.
Well,
There you go. Well, there's the
ta-da!
question.
You had to wait for me to click. Okay. So now just put in what word comes to mind when you think about nutrition.
Health food diet. Food. Healthy food, vegetables, fuel. Organic. It's interesting. Okay.
Just think about this.
Healthy eating.
Food really
A
was
large lobster. I like
medicine.
that. Blah. Fresh meat.
All right, you guys have some interesting thoughts about nutrition.
I think I like the large lobster the best. I think that's my favorite so far. Deprivation, that's an interesting one.
Yeah. Well, we'll be talking a little bit about some of those things. All right.
Nutrition. Wow.
Quite an assortment of terms for nutrition and ideas that come to mind. Maybe we should do this poll when we're done too, because we will have a different perspective. But we don't have it built in, so we're not going to do it.
gonna be-
But anyway, let me go to the next one, just because we have such good content for you guys. Oh, I always have to point this way. Let's go next one. One participant is still
There
typing.
you
She's taking
go.
cheesecake.
Active poll.
Okay.
Okay. What?
What word describes fitness for you
We
today?
better not see large lobster up here, too. Yeah, I like it.
Fun.
Dreaded. See, dreaded.
Dreaded. Umpiring.
Couch surfing.
Wow.
There's some funny people here.
Yeah.
Dancing on tables. Who wrote dancing on tables? Stand up on your table. Stand up on your table.
Table. Dreaded.
All right.
Stick, feeling
I think we
good.
have, what, 1 or 2 more?
3 more. Oh, good. Okay. Good. Exercise.
Okay. I'm going to move on.
Mental.
What word comes to mind when you think of mental health?
Important. It is important.
Mind over matter. If you don't mind, it doesn't matter, right? Nice. Okay. And of these 3, which do you think is most important to you? Gotta pick one, only one.
Mental health. Well, that's great. I like that.
That's a result of the other two.
Yeah, I like the other work.
All right. Whoop, I went too far. Go back. It's going the wrong way. Come on. Why is it going the wrong way?
It's going the right way back now. Oh,
Huh?
keep going back. There you go.
There we go.
Okay.
Now you have the clicker. That's the right is forward and the left is making.
Right is forward.
All right, if
All right.
you'll introduce yourself.
Yep. So everybody, I'm Scott Erickson. I'm going to take you through some tips to
gonna stand right
exercise.
here while he's talking.
And we're actually going to do some exercises today. But before we go in, just a disclaimer. If nobody here visualizes me as Olivia Newton-John doing Let's Get Physical, that's okay. I won't be offended. If you do visualize Olivia Newton-John when you look at me, don't tell me, but we probably have a professional somewhere you should talk to, okay? So this part of the presentation is about how simple, easy, and fun it can be to be active, even during treatment. Okay, and I know we all have different stories, and so you'll see as we go through these, how you exercise is really something you can tailor to your situation. Before we begin, everybody have an orange resistance band in front of them? If you haven't opened one up, why don't you go ahead and just do that now? And I'll talk about the bands a little bit here. These bands are a little bit short, so we want to make sure everybody's careful. As we go through and do the different exercises, there'll be a few where I'll say don't grab both sides of the band, just pretend you have a long band like I do. This is my Olivia Newton band, so don't worry about it. I'll explain it to you as we go through. So real quick before I jump in, a little bit about me and my bladder cancer journey. In June of 2021, and actually in May, or maybe even in April, I was doing a particularly hard workout. And later that night, I had blood in my urine. And like a lot of people, and I think Stephanie, you said this to me, oh yeah, I went to Dr. Google. And I researched it, and it said, oh yeah, if that happens and you did a hard workout and it goes away in 72 hours, don't worry about it. And so it went away right away, so I didn't worry about it. Then a few weeks later, it came back. And then it came back again, and then I realized there are exercises I could do to make it show up. Well, the novelty of that wore off pretty quick, as you can imagine, right? So I figured, okay, as the typical sort of macho guy that doesn't want to go see a doctor, my wife and I finally realized, yeah, I need to go see a doctor. Long story short, they found a aggressive, non-invasive tumor in my bladder. It had grown into the bladder about the size of a mushroom, and when I would do certain, or size of a golf ball, when I would do certain exercises, it would squeeze on that, and hence I'd see the blood in my urine. Within a very short time period, I had the 2 resections. You know, I first went to a urologist, and you know, before they knew it was cancer, and I knew something was up when this guy's posters on his wall, he probably had a dozen of them about ED, but nothing about, you know, cancer oncology. So once they found out it was cancer, I asked around, used my network, as I'm sure all of us do here, and I was directed to UT Southwestern. It's a research center there in Dallas, great facility, and I got in to see Dr. Waldo and his team. That was a game changer for me. During the period of my treatments for the next 18 months, went through BCG, got into a clinical trial, all the inspections, those kind of things, I continued to exercise. I ended up going to my first and second ever world championships, won 4 gold medals, and I call it old farts track and field. No one likes it when I say that. They call it masters. I'm just honest about it, and it is a battle of attrition. But it's still just a great experience to have that out there. I also won 7 national championships within that time period and was able to stay active and exercise during my treatment cycles. Of course, that took a little bit of an adjustment to my exercise, but luckily, because I'm a self-proclaimed nerd, I spend 70 hours a week at my computer easy. Luckily, I'd already started to make some of those adjustments. So those are the things that we're going to talk about today a little bit.
Yeah, it takes a second. You got to
Okay.
click hard.
So how important was exercise as part of that routine? Dr. Waldo himself had this quote and gave me permission to use it. I first flowered it up and said a lot of other really complimentary things about myself, and he told me that was over the top, so I scaled it back to what he actually said. But the things I highlighted here is that the approach to exercise was instrumental in the quality of life, right? It's not a guarantee of treatment outcomes and all those kind of things, although certainly attitude helps, we think, right? But certainly in quality of life, it was hugely important for me. That being said, consistent exercise, it can be a challenge. Let's be honest, we've engineered with technology a lot of reasons to move out of our lives. We have robo vacuums, robo lawn cutters, right? We don't need to do the stuff we used to do. And so a lot of us live more sedentary lives than ever before. Pile on with a cancer diagnosis and the treatments, and that becomes more challenging. So today's goal, I'm going to give you 6 tips to overcome that challenge, make exercise easy, and then we're going to do some, I'll even say the word goofy, but easy, fun exercises along the way. So everybody have their resistance band? Now, don't feel obligated to do these exercises, right? There's always the, and I'll jump ahead here, look at the very bottom. There's always the make sure you consult your medical professional disclaimer, right? Everybody here, stay within your limitations here, or even just your desires. So no pressure to exercise, be careful. The one thing you'll see with these exercises, it's just a movement, and then we might add a little bit of a resistance in with the resistance band, and that's a game changer. The benefits of doing these exercises, obviously most of us know these already. Mental, right? Attitude, confidence, energy. Physical, strength, balance, mobility, posture. Man, when we're going through treatment, these are key. Balance and mobility. You know, the last thing any of us want to have is a fall. It's the fall that really precipitates a lot of bad things for people as we get older. So we want to work on things that incorporate our balance, our range of motion, and that kind of stuff. And then chemically, right? Some of us are on a lot more chemicals than we want already that we take, but we can also induce some of these through exercise, the feel-good chemicals, the endorphins. Now the dangers, when I was first diagnosed with cancer, I called a center out of Phoenix. It was one of those, what do you call them, complementary centers where they look at different areas of treating cancer. And then I asked the guy, is it okay if I exercise? I'd love to exercise. He goes, yeah, avoid 2 things, exhaustion and oxygen deprivation. And I was a little confused or curious about what oxygen deprivation really meant. Because a lot of people go out and run and do distance work or they swim, right? So it doesn't mean you can't do that. His view was, if you get to where you can't talk, then you might be pushing it too far. Both of those, exhaustion and oxygen deprivation, studies have shown make our immune system weaker and harder to respond and fight things. So the great thing is when I first heard this, I said, wait a second. And he also told me don't lose weight. I didn't put that one up here because I don't know how true that is, but it worked for me, saying, great, I don't have to run distance, get out of breath, work out very long, and I can keep eating my cheesecake, right? And I'm joking about that, but so the avoiding exhaustion and oxygen deprivation, those are key things to avoid some of the dangers of exercising because we can overdo it. So with that being said, tip number 1, less can be more. Here's a rule of thumb. I leave the gym, when I do go to the gym, I leave the gym when I feel like I should and could have done more. And so, why do you think I do that? I'm lazy, maybe? Could be. That could be somebody's answer. But the reality is, I want to have that energy that I'm going to come back the next day. You know, some of us who are old school, our view of a workout used to be where we can barely crawl out of the gym. We're on our stomach pulling ourselves into our car to drive home, right? Those days are gone. We want less is more. We want to quit when we still feel we have the energy that we should do more. Because one, we'll come back the next day with enthusiasm and energy to do more, or the day after that, whatever our schedule is. And we're also avoiding getting so far beyond that we don't recover. So when I do go to the gym, it's 15, 20 minutes max for me. And what's great is with some of these exercises we'll show, I do those throughout the day. Those are 1 to 2 minutes. Okay, so the first one, now I'm going to show you this. I'm going to show you this before I want you guys to stand up and do it. This is one called chicken wings. And I saw somebody for mental health put Latin dancing. If you're okay with it, raise your hand for a second if you put Latin dancing if you want to. Awesome. So my wife is a Latin dancer, and this one is called chicken wings with salsa. So we're going to do chicken wings, and we're going to do a little easy Latin dance movement. So the reason we do this is if we can incorporate our whole body into things, again, that works on the mobility, the posture, and engages everything. And we're not trying to lift the world record on weight. We're just trying to move. And if we move with a little resistance, that's even better. So let me show you this first. A couple things on these bands. If you grab a band close together, obviously you have more resistance. If you grab it further apart, it's easier. If you double it, you can have more resistance. Now these bands are short, so don't grab it far apart so you don't feel a lot of resistance on these. More importantly than getting the resistance today, I just want you to get a feel for the motion. So I'm going to stand like this. And I'm going to bunch my bands up. I'm going to tuck my elbows into my sides. And I'm just going to go like this. Those are chicken wings. Now I could do just one hand, right, like that. So I'm rotating because the back of our shoulders, during the day when we're sitting down all day on the computer, these get elongated and weak. So that made that pop up higher, didn't it? So this is an easy way to work those out in the morning. And I guarantee you, if you overdo this, you'll be sore tomorrow. So don't overdo this, okay? So now I'm going to get my chicken head bob going, and I'm going to do my salsa move. And by the way, these are my BCAN backup dancers. So they have never done this before, so I'm putting them on the spot. They're going to watch me and try to imitate it. And if anybody wants to see what the steps are, right over there, that young lady is probably the one to look to. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And as I do that, so see how simple that is? And really, you can just walk back and forth if you want. Okay, now we want to get some, let's see who my backup dancers are going. Ready?
Yeah.
Mark's got
We're
it.
going to line up here. Ready?
And I feel like, I don't know any Spanish music, but we could do tequila. No, 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 no.
Yeah.
Okay, you've seen that?
We're gonna
Everybody
run
stand
into
up. Give yourself a little space. And again, no peer
And we're a
pressure.
little packed in here, so,
Yeah,
just try
so
to
you don't
find
have to
your
step
niche.
forward.
Tuck your chair in.
Yep. Okay, big thing, elbows and sides, and don't have too much resistance. Give yourself a lot of slack between your hands.
There's room up here if anybody wants to walk up front.
Yeah,
Come on.
yeah, you got a lot of space here.
On the floor here.
Got a lot of space here where everybody can see you dance.
Plenty of room down here.
Okay, ready? Now I want you guys to do the tequila thing with me a little bit, right? Just humor me on this, right? Okay, 1.
I can see clearly now the rain is
Go ahead.
I can see
I love it.
all obstacles.
Okay, then we stop.
Okay, stop.
So-
So, still do more.
Yep, stop when you still do more. Now we'll talk about some of this stuff later. You do an exercise, so 30 seconds to a minute, 4 or 5 seconds, you'll be amazed at how much energy you have at the end of the day.
Sunshiny day.
Spikes your metabolism up a little bit, spikes your energy up, you're not getting exhausted. Okay, now talk about
Sunshiny day.
where you can do these.
It's okay.
Because tip number 2 is move throughout the
Yes,
day.
I can make
Right?
it now.
There's all these micro-burst resistance exercises. They can be done anywhere, anytime, by anybody. That's really almost like 1 to 1 to act 3 4 hours. My alarm will go off. So one time you do my exercise, I'll jump in the
Here
air.
is the rain.
Because the reason I've done sometimes up when there's a lot of people around, believe it or not, I get a little self-conscious. So I'll go into the restroom and do it, and I'll come out, and I might be breathing hard. This is terrible. There's somebody waiting to use the restroom, and the
People
look on their
question
face
if
is
it's
really
because of
concerned.
exercise.
Which ironically makes me laugh, which makes them more concerned. So, you know. Okay, so what does moving throughout the day do for us? And it's almost an embarrassment to put that there was research on this because it's such common knowledge, but there are tons of studies out there. Increased energy, it's a clear mind. When I do these throughout the day, I don't drink that afternoon coffee anymore, right? I time these and get that little burst of energy. Improved mood, I'm a pretty happy guy anyways. This stuff makes me ecstatic. Higher metabolism, increased blood flow, improved posture. That's a huge thing because in our sedentary lives, right, we're not hanging on a Pilates rack, right? We're sitting down at a computer typically, or we're standing somewhere. So we need to do some of these exercises to balance things out. And this quote, I love this because when my youngest son was born, I just turned 40, and I stepped on the scale, and with a lot of momentum, it went past 300 pounds. And I realized, how did I get like this? Because I had a gym membership and I used it 4 or 5 days a week. But this quote here said it right there. The 1 hour a day you spend in the gym does not immunize you for the other 23 hours of the day. And even though I was using my gym membership, I was sitting down the rest of the time. I was taking clients out. I was eating prime rib. You know, another quote that just, excuse my French, sucks. You can't out-exercise a bad diet. I don't want to steal Mark's thunder,
No.
but it's true. Okay, exercise number 2. They're coming fast and furious, folks. Now, I'm going to show this one, and I'm going to give you guys a modified version because I don't want anybody doing this with the short bands. We don't want these things to snap and hit you or your neighbor in the eye. And I think I had to tell the back table there earlier, no snapping each other with the bands. Okay, so I'm going to stand on
What
my
you
band
do
with my
at home
right
is your
foot.
business.
Can everybody see this? If not, just imagine I'm standing on my band with the right foot. I have the end of the band in my hand. I'm up like this. I'm stepping. Don't do these. Don't do these over your head. You'll snap that band. And then I'm going to stretch and I really feel that right here. It doesn't, and then I'm going to stand down like this. It doesn't feel like much. Right? Now, a modified version of that is, and you can do these if you want. Just stand like this with my band to my side. It's under my foot. Step over and just get a little lean. Hold that lean and really try to feel that through your sides. And by the way, if I start breathing hard up here, it's not because I'm so out of shape that I'm getting winded. I'm just hyped up.
It is in a bathroom.
That's right. It's not a bathroom. Exactly. Okay, you see here, you do 6 to 12 reps, and then you're done. One of the things you have to be careful because we have this mindset, boy, we got to suffer when we exercise. No, do 6 to 12 reps each, and you're done for a couple hours. Right? See, that's what happens when you have a short band. It sneaks out from under your foot, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, behave, people. It's like a rock concert. We don't want anybody getting hurt. We don't want to get hurt. Behave, people. Okay, so we call these microburst exercises, right? And why are we so excited about them? One, they're affordable and accessible. Most of us have spent some time in our life at a PT. What do they give us right away? Especially if it's a shoulder thing, it's a band, right? These things are everywhere. Now, there are bands and there are bands. My advice to people who want to get one, get a long one. Right, get a good quality band that's long enough, because if it's too long, you can always double it up or you can just grab it here. If it's too short, that's when things happen, like it slides under your foot or it breaks in half, right? Or you get hurt because you're really pushing it past its elasticity. So, go ahead and just make sure if you get one, get a long enough band. Anyone can do them anywhere, anytime. I already gave you my Starbucks story. There's other ones, but you probably don't want to hear those, and I probably don't want to admit to them. It's generally a controllable, safe form of resistance because you can control how hard it is. If I'm out here versus right here or right here, right? And as you'll see later, you can take just about any movement and you can just add a little bit of resistance to it and you'll work your muscles out in a different way. It includes all the benefits, most of the benefits anyways, of other forms of exercise. So I'll take a yoga movement or a Tai Chi movement. We have one called Nerd Chi, where you do a Tai Chi movement, but you're just adding a resistance band. Man, I'll tell you what, it's a killer. So you can take any movement where you're working on that balance and mobility, add a little resistance, and it's a game changer. So we call them microburst exercises. Okay, number 3. So you guys can do this. Don't stretch your hands out past the point where the band's going to feel like it's going to break. As a matter of fact, grab it at the end of the band just so it doesn't, but don't let it slip. Because if you let it slip in these, you're probably going to snap your neighbor. Okay? We don't want that.
Like that.
So these are called umpire squats, and you're going to have to make some noise here. How many people here are from Texas? How many people here are Rangers fans?
Back in
From
the
Houston,
corner
you're probably not. Okay, Rangers in the World Series, right?
there. All right.
So this is going to be the umpire calling one of the Rangers coming home, sliding home. So you stand like this, just stand up, and I'm going to step to the right. Now, the first time, don't bend down real far, because one thing, if you have knee issues, right, you don't want to get down to a low squat, but just step over a little bit to the right, and you stretch your hands out. And then step back. And usually, if I'm not on a stage where I'll fall off, I'll just go this way, and then back this way, and then back this way. And if I'm comfortable with it, I'll get a little bit lower. Because now when I get lower, I'm working my legs and my hips as well. Okay, and now I'll go safe. Okay, hey, if you're a Nationals fan or I guess a Diamondbacks fan, you can call them out. Ready? Okay, let's go safe. But out is this. Ready? Safe. Safe. He's safe. You sucker.
Safe.
Safe. Ready? Safe. Okay, do 6 to 8 of those. There you go. Now, like I said, I'm not breathing hard because I'm out of shape. So you guys have already done 3 exercises. Pretty cool, huh? Here's tip number 3. This one is so important because if we want to be consistent over time in how we exercise, let's be honest with ourselves. What are the barriers? What are our obstacles? So this is the list of obstacles that I had to have my moment of honesty and say, you know what? These things get in my way. What can I do to remove them? First one is I don't want to spend a lot of time. I'm a workaholic. I spend a lot of time on my computer. I'm not going to get up and even go for a 15-minute walk. But I can get up and do a 1 to 2 minute exercise. I don't want to get down on the floor. I was talking to Mr. Dillard there in the back. When I got on the floor, I'm tall. It's not so much getting on the floor, it's getting off the floor. First, the floor is dirty, but I look like a turtle on its back. Once I'm on the floor, I need assistance. Roll me over, and then I'll get me to a chair, and I'll climb up. So I don't want to get down on the floor. I don't want to change clothes, which means I don't want to overheat because I don't want to get sweaty. I'm at work. I don't want to get injured. And believe me, guys, I tried all sorts of things. I had free weights in my office for a while. I had a yoga mat. Literally, true story. I'm doing a upward or downward dog where my butt's in the air and I'm like this, and a guy for a sales call walks in. I didn't get that deal. I don't want to get injured. And lastly, I don't want to get exhausted. Right? I don't want to get to oxygen deprivation. So tip 3, be honest with yourselves. Find out what are the reasons why I don't exercise and remove them. The other thing, I have resistance bands strategically placed everywhere. So when I'm walking down the stairs, I see some hanging there. Oh, hey, it's kind of like ADD. Oh, shiny object. Oh, there's a squirrel, right? So I realize I keep them in my car, right? So I have it where it's convenient for me. Okay, this one, you may need to just watch this. You can try it if you want, just be real careful. So this is called 3-way chest, right? How do I work my chest without getting on the floor because I don't want to do push-ups and I'm not going to go to the gym? So what I could do, I could do this here, I could go to the wall right here and just lean against the wall and do some push-ups, right? Or I can just do them in the air. So here are the 3 variations of chest exercises. I can go across my shoulders, up top, and just, right, looking like a goofy bird. Now I can flip them underneath my armpits. And if I want to get a little squat and out like this, that's sort of like first was like a decline chest. This is like a regular chest press. Now, if I want to get really tricky, now you guys probably don't want, you can do this one if you want, just be careful. It might slide up your back, but I'm going to get low enough and put it beneath my legs and just go up like this. Now it's like an incline. And I'm working my legs at the same time. All right, so that's 3-way chest. Man, you guys are almost done. Okay, this is super important as well. Leverage the right motivators. It amazes me how many times we use a negative self-image to try to get a positive result. I'm too weak, I'm too skinny, I'm too heavy. If those are your motivators to exercise or to become fit, I'm going to ask you, flip that a little bit. Tell yourself, if I did 3 of these today, man, I did 3 today. I'm doing this journey. Look at me, I'm committed to this. Look at me, I'm lighthearted and fun with my exercise. Right? Have the right motivators because, and I love this quote, it's impossible to consistently act in a way that's inconsistent with your self-image. And when you say, I'm too heavy, I'm too weak, I'm too anything, you're reinforcing that self-image. Right? So I get back and I go, man, so great, I did 3 exercises today. Where's that cheesecake? Well, maybe not that. Okay, so focus on the process, celebrate the consistency, and my God, lighten up and have fun. We've all gone through something that maybe made us look at life a little bit differently. I tell people all the time in track and field, I'm playing with house money. This is fun, right? So approach fitness and exercise the same way. Okay, now this one, unfortunately, you could do if you just hold your bands in place, but typically at the end of the day, if you're holding in the front, I like to do something that has a little more metabolism to them. And so 2 of my favorites, butterflies and bee stings, Muhammad Ali, or up Chuck Norris, which I won't show that one, but that's for Chuck Norris. I just like to say up Chuck. So let me show you these first. So there's all sorts of variations you can do on this. I put it on my back leg so I get a little more resistance, and I'm gonna go jab, cross, hook, uppercut. You do that for 15 seconds, you're gonna feel it. So if you guys wanna try, let's just have it in our hand like this, right? Get a little squat and bounce in your leg. And this is one if you're a talker, you gotta talk during this, right? So jab, hold this arm back, cross, hook, uppercut. Okay, now let's get a little rhythm going. Ready? Come on, suckers. Jab, cross, hook, uppercut, 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 jab, cross, hook, uppercut. All right. Hey, but you know what? Wait. God gave us 2 sides. Got to flip it around the other way. Okay? You guys thought you were halfway done on that one. Ready? Jab, cross, hook, uppercut. Jab, cross, hook, uppercut. Jab, cross, hook, uppercut. So last 2 go a little faster. Ready? Jab, cross, hook, uppercut. Jab, cross, hook, uppercut. Jab, cross, hook, uppercut. I tell you what, you guys do this for a year, I guarantee you we can challenge any other cancer society and we'll take them down. Okay, super important for me. I was very fortunate that Dr. Waldo and his staff, they not only welcomed my goals, they wanted to hear about them. So back in April, I spoke at the AUA with Patient Perspectives. Stephanie and those guys somehow got me in there. I don't think they've been forgiven yet. But what was really interesting, across all the patient perspectives, the number one thread was communication with their doctor. Some people had good communication, some people had poor communication. I was really lucky that Dr. Waldo not only listened to my goals, he actually embraced them. There were 2 clinical trials that were available to me. One was one that he was leading up. The other one was the one he recommended because he thought that would be better for my quality of life. By the way, yeah, now I'm getting excited. By the way, the clinical trial he got me in was called a drug called rapamycin. Rapamycin has strong anti-aging properties, they think. So they were studying to see, does this get cancer outside the bladder or prevent it? And does it also help mental and physical cognition and growth and anti-aging? That's perfect. I've competed in track and field a lot, and I get drug tested when I go to these meets. So I'm thinking, finally, a performance-enhancing drug that I can take, and it's legal. The funny thing was, a little side story, let me know if I'm going over. My life became compartmentalized into, because this drug was supposed to could make you stronger, could make you have better memory, who knows? Am I in the placebo group or the test group? So one day I went to the gym, man, I'm strong. Called my wife up, I must be in the test group. True story, the next morning I fell over putting on my socks. Damn, I'm in the placebo group. My whole life became compartmentalized, one of those 2 groups. So, but it was I'm new to this stuff. We're all new to this stuff for the most part, right? When we first go through it, I had nothing to compare this to. So to have a staff like that embraced, said, we know this is what you do in life, what you'd like to do. We want to make sure you can continue doing that and have that quality of life. Okay, last one. Somebody asked me, can you work abs doing these things? The answer is, heck yeah, of course you can. Okay, so this one you guys can't do because I guarantee this is way too short, so I'll just show you. But you can do it without your band as well. So why don't you go ahead and just set your band on your table. And you see, I'm going to stand on the band with my left foot, raise my right arm up, and all I want you guys to do, get a little spread and take your, again, if your shoulders are okay, you're going to take your right elbow down to your left knee. And see, when I'm holding that band, it's working my abs, it's working my obliques. Just standing up. Do a few of those. We'll switch sides. A few of those.
We will make these slides available for everybody to download.
Yep. And by the way, at the end, I'll show you, there's some links where there's 45 or whatever videos that you can go watch and see if you want to do some of these. Okay, so before we continue, you guys just did all 6 exercises. Normally, you would do that over the course of a day. You just condensed it in 15 or 20 minutes. And we're almost done here. Tip number 6, join a community or two. I participate in Masters Track and Field. And what's great is, it's not the performance that people have. It's not the marks. It's we call it the participation is the inspiration. When I was first diagnosed, all of a sudden I became keenly aware. And my wife laughs. We go to these things, and she says, the conversations here are crazy. It's a new knee. Hey, how's your new knee doing? Good. How's your pacemaker? Oh, that's great. How's the surgery? Right? It's about the participation. Having a community that's also active is such a support because everybody's cheering everybody on. We all know we're overcoming something. Right? So if you can, whether that's pickleball or senior games, there's so many things out there. And let's face it, we're a growing demographic. Right? So take advantage of a community like that. And of course, there's this other community we might want to participate in as well. Okay, so recap real quick. We're at the end here. 6 tips. Less can be more. Move throughout the day. Remove your personal exercise obstacles. Leverage the right kind of motivation. Share your goals, particularly with your medical staff. And join a community or two. And then lastly, thrive and survive. So, and I truly believe this. A friend of mine, Tom Ziegler, told me one point and stuck with me. All the great stories are comeback stories. All the epic movies, all the hero falls, the hero comes back, the hero adjusts, right? So he said, yeah, Scott, this is another chance for you to continue your story. And so I think what a great way to look at it. So I want to thank everybody here. Here's some sites if you want to go to those. If you go to, I think one of them at WorkFit, Life is the Gym is the password. But just go and just grab your band. Don't overthink it. Be safe, right? Don't get crazy. But I want to thank everybody here. This is just a lot of fun, and I'm really thrilled to see people here engaged and becoming more fit.
Thank you. And we're so delighted to have you here in person because we were trying to get you to come into Phoenix while you were in Poland competing, and we weren't able to make the Zoom work, unfortunately. But this is great. I hope you got a little something out of it. And now let's talk about some of the other aspects.
Right.
And there's the...
By the way, don't underestimate these little bands.
Yeah.
Because you said the big ones. This rolls up. You can take this with you everywhere.
Yeah, in your pocket,
Think
you're
about
right.
it. It
Yeah.
rolls up in your pocket. You put a
Take
rubber
it to your
band
next
around
appointment, you know.
Take it with you, and just while you're waiting for your next doctor's
Let's
appointment.
trade chairs.
Absolutely, great
Go
point.
for it.
Stand or whatever. Here's your notebook.
I just want this. Give me just a second. I want to read something out of it.
Okay.
Present for you.
Hold up, thank you.
Are we ready on this?
Yeah. They should all be merged together. If you click the next to the right,
So it hangs
you got to
on.
aim towards the computer in the back.
Where's the computer? Computer!
It's in the back in the
there you
right
go.
corner.
There you
There
go.
we go.
Great. I'm Mark Block. Nice to be here today. I am no stranger to fitness myself. I've got lots of scars to prove it, trust me. I swim and I run, but I seem to be gravitating towards cycling right now. So about 3 months ago, I was on a little cycle ride with some friends. I'm from New York, and we're about 30 miles north of the city, and we're pace lining. Do you guys know what pace lining is for riders? For those that don't, you've seen a group of 6 or 7 riders go past you, and they're all riding together. That's pace lining. And the principle is that everybody drafts off each other, and the first guy comes off and goes to the back, and you keep rotating. So this one day, I am pace lining with riders that were faster than I was. I pull off the front, and they start to pass me. To be honest with you, I'm watching them pass me. I go, oh my God, this is not going to turn out good. These guys are going so fast. Well, sure enough, and like you said, if you can think it, you have to be careful with what you think, because I was thinking to myself, this is not a good thing. And I get to the last guy I'm supposed to pull in, and my wheel pulls into the slipstream. I hit the guy in front of me. We're going about 18 miles an hour, which for those of you that know, on a bike is fast. So we're cruising down the road at, let me put this is me, by the way, I should have had this slide up there. So we're going down at 18, I hit the rear wheel of the guy, I'm going 90 degrees off into a ditch. It's the last, all I saw was like these two big trees coming at me. And I do remember thinking, I'm not Tom Cruise. I'm not going to come out of this unscathed. You know, Tom Cruise, he brushed himself off. On motorcycles, 50 miles an hour, he brushes himself off. That's the last I remember. What I remember is waking up, lying on the ground, with the guys picking the bike off me. Blood from here to here. I have a scar right now on my arm and my leg. And we were 30 miles away from the city still. I arrived 30 miles back in shock. I should not have. But I've had so much time to think about that moment, to think about almost dying. Now, I was lucky. I dodged the bullet on that one. But I realized that there were three important things that have gone through my mind. And this was like, why was I there? What was I doing in a situation that maybe I shouldn't have been in, because these guys were so much faster than me? And I was thinking, well, if I could figure that why out, I might figure out how to really let that manifest itself. And from there, I'd go to, well, what is that manifestation? And it's going to be cycling. It's going to be exercise. So I kept going through this why and the how and the what in my mind, and I want to share with you a little bit about what I was thinking of. Oops. Sorry about this, guys. Let's talk about the why for a minute. And I was going through myself, and I want to share this with you. Why do we get up in the morning? Why are we here? Not here in this room right now, but why are we here in life? You know, what is our purpose in life? Just to get through bladder cancer? Is it to live a long, healthy, happy life regardless? Is it just for a relationship? Is it to see your grandkids, your children grow up and be happy? What is our purpose in life? And if we can figure out what our purpose is, then we've got to figure out, well, how are we going to accomplish that? How can we make it happen? You know, do you just do more of what you're doing today? Do you go ahead and try something new? Do you do more exercise? What can you do? Like we're here today. So if you think about it, the what is going to be our exercise today. It's what we're going to do to accomplish that why. And what I realized is that people, the why, the exercise we do, that's what people see, but that's not why people believe in you. They believe in you for why you're doing it. The exercise we're doing here today, why would you do it? I think that's very, very important. So the bottom line here is, it's not the what, it's the why. And I also had a chance to look at, again, sorry guys.
It's got a bit of a hair trigger.
Okay. I looked at the description of today's talk, which Stephanie read. I want to read it one more time to you because I think it's important as we go forward. How to be physically fit during treatment, how to incorporate more movement into everyday life, and how exercise affects stress management and mental health, mental well-being after bladder cancer diagnosis. So what I would like to do, I want to reimagine that discussion. I want to reimagine how you put it out there today. Okay? And what I did to help this out, I put together this little sketch. I call it my Fit for Life pyramid. It's an inverted pyramid, but it's like a bullhorn almost, where you're broadcasting out to the world what it is, what your why is. And at the bottom of the pyramid is our why. Why are we here? My why here is to help people find and achieve and be motivated in different aspects of their lives to achieve a long, healthy, happy life. That's my why for being here. The next on this little bullhorn is, well, how do I want to accomplish that? Depends on who I'm working with, who I'm talking to. For here, it's how we want to do it. We've already identified our fitness. You answered some great questions about how you defined nutrition and physical and your social aspects of the life. But I've defined actually a fourth one, which is your cognitive fitness, which was actually mentioned in the rehab session. She really brought home cognitive fitness, nutritional fitness, physical, and social fitness. And if you look at that bullhorn again just for a minute, what is that fitness saying about your why? Why is it there? Now, what I'd like to do, oops, where are we? Sorry about this, guys. So we're back here. I'd like to start, we've talked about the four fitnesses. I'd like to talk a little bit about the cognitive side of the fitness. Because our cognition, our cognitive fitness, it's how we think. Everything starts in our brain. It's our motivation. It's how we process. It's the decisions we make. Anything we do has to start in your brain. And there was a study I read back in 1985, scientific study, and there have been many studies since that prove we can maintain cognitive fitness throughout our lives. It's very, very important. So I'd like then to jump into our thinking part of it, because the thought process is what makes it all happen. It's thinking that drives it all. And science also proves that the thinking we do in our cognition wards off preventable diseases such as diabetes, obesity, blood pressure problems, heart conditions. It's an amazing, we have to always be thinking about what we're doing. Oops. I'm so sorry here, guys. Well, and one more.
Oops.
What am I doing here, guys? I mean, I could do this without the slides if I have to.
You want me to run the slides for you?
No. I need someone to get me back to where we were. Because we're talking about our cognitive fitness and thinking. Yeah.
Patricia's getting it on the back.
There you go. There you go.
There you go.
You can stop right there.
You know what you could do is you can stop using that, and Patricia can you just say next slide.
All right.
Patricia, go ahead.
Patricia, is that okay?
Yeah.
I'll do, okay. Next slide, please. Yes, I'm having a little problem with this.
Let me hold that because I don't want you to get.
Yeah, maybe my fingers are too big or something. I've always been told that I'm a little too large, my fingers sometimes. Why don't you bring up the next slide, Patricia? That'd be great. So if you're thinking, I want you to make sure you're thinking about something different, something unimaginable, and make sure that unimaginable thing relates to your why. The example I have up here is the Queen in Alice in Wonderland. You guys know all the Queen, right? Do you realize the Queen in Alice in Wonderland thought of 6 impossible things before breakfast? Now that's a lot. I can't say I've ever thought of 6 impossible things before breakfast. One maybe before dinner. So give it a try, maybe one a week, but give it a try. Think of something impossible. Think of something, especially with bladder cancer, we have to think of impossible things. We have to get to that future. So let's be like the Queen in Alice in Wonderland. Next slide, please. And as you're thinking of those impossible things, are you getting hungry? I mean, think about it. Your brain is burning calories. Do you realize your brain burns 20% of your basal metabolic rate calories? 20%. Now you're sitting here and just doing nothing, not doing the exercise that Scott brought up. you're burning 20%. Now, a basal metabolic rate is between 1,600, 1,700. Scott and I, maybe it's 2,000 because our metabolism is faster. So 20% of 1,600 calories is 2,000 calories a day. So let's assume you're burning 70 calories right now. Just sitting there, you're burning 70 calories. The brain burns 20% of those 70 calories. Now, this process of thinking, if you know what you're burning, how you're burning calories, how important it is that your brain is to your life and success, because that starts everything, then you can understand nutrition. You can understand what you're putting into your body. Then you can design the nutrition. You can work with a nutritionist, work with a dietitian. But I also have to say that science proves that nutrition, good nutrition or bad nutrition, can help or hinder the preventable diseases that we live with every day. The diabetes, the obesity, the heart conditions, the stroke. And it's also proven that good nutrition can help with a long, healthy life with cancer. Nutrition is key to that long life. Next slide, please. So I'm thinking, now luckily, Stephanie has made sure you guys have lots of food coming in here. So you're not, unless I'm wrong, I've been in these presentations where I see people looking at their watch saying, God, I'm hungry, I gotta get out of here, I gotta get lunch. So Stephanie was nice enough to put some extra kind bars on the table just in case. But what Stephanie did do, she's been managing your energy. She's been managing your nutrition for this weekend. So you're not hungry. You're not anxious to get out of this presentation. So the key is on nutrition, your homework, your exercise is to make sure you understand your body, understand yourself, understand what you need to make sure that your energy is always managed. One of the things I saw in the survey, when you said, what's nutrition? One person said, no cookies. No cookies. You guys have to realize that the only thing that your body uses is sugar. That's it. We eat, whatever you eat, it turns into sugar in your body. There's nothing else you can eat. So there's nothing wrong with the cookie once in a while. There's nothing wrong with the power bars because you have to have sugar. So whoever said no cookies, I would dispute you a little on that one. Eat a cookie once in a while. Next slide, please. And since now you have lots of energy, since Stephanie's made sure of that, I want to talk a little bit about social fitness. Scott, you addressed it on how important social gatherings are with the exercise. I mean, social fitness, look around you. Look at everybody in this room. How important it is that you're here today for this social gathering. You have to realize that we're all here for the same reason, to kind of share and enjoy and to learn from our experiences through bladder cancer and surviving through that bladder cancer. Social gatherings, your friends, they give you a place to be secure. They give you a place to cry, to laugh. They give you a place of safety. Social fitness is incredible, and it also, again, with bladder cancer or any cancer, it is proof that social interactions are critical to extending and having a long, healthy, happy life with cancer. So it's very, very important. So what I want to do is a little social exercise with you right now. Next slide, please. One of the things that I do is I do work out with other people. I can't do that when I swim because that's a little difficult, swimming with another person. But when I cycle, or I run, or I do weights, I always try to make sure I'm with someone and do it. So what I would like to do today, I'd like you to find someone in this room that you have not spoken with today. And actually, I'd like anyone to come up that I don't know anybody here, so it's easy for someone to come up that I don't know. How would you like to, you want to come join me for a second? Sure. I want you guys to do, I need the stretch bands again. Everybody grab the stretch bands. Find someone that you, bring your stretch band up. Come on, stand up with me for 1 second. You did it for Scott, so you can humor me here. Humor me. There's 2 things I want you to do, I'd like you to do for me. I want you to back to back to the spot. I want you to each grab it so you don't let it go. So what we're going to wind up doing is let go of one hand. You're going to grab, back to me, back like this.
You have a band?
Grab this one, okay? And I'm going to grab this, and I'm going to grab this one. So you see what we did? Come on, guys. Humor me, come on. Hold it, stop. What's the deal, guys? Come on. Everybody, get up.
There you
We're
go.
gonna demo.
Still, we're going to demo. So you got it back?
We'll use this one too. Yep.
So just do some of Scott's exercises. Pull forward, not too hard. Pull forward against each other. That's it.
Yep.
That's it.
Wow.
Good, I like
I'm gonna
it.
start running. Just
Now.
I'm gonna start running and dragging you around the
Okay,
room.
now what I'd like you to do. Okay, guys, that's good.
Now we
Guys,
gotta turn around
enough.
the other way.
We're done. Stop. Stop.
Now you can't get him to stop.
Stop. All right, now do the same thing. Think about what was going on in your mind. Now face each other. Face each other. Do the same thing. Look each other in the eye
Dan.
and laugh. I'm Mark, by the way. What's your name?
I'm Diane.
Diane. Hi, Diane. Diane, guys, introduce yourselves. Look at each other and do the same thing. Diane, stretch
There you
out.
go. Nice.
Pull down behind your arms. Out again. Great, Diane. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So how did that feel? What was the difference
Yep.
in your feeling when you faced the person and when you didn't face them? We're good. That's good, Diane. Thank you so much. You can grab that. So what my question now is, that's good, you guys can
Okay, everybody sit down.
You can sit down now, it's all right. And now there's those kind bars are on the table in case you're now starving. My question is, what was the difference in your feeling when you had your back to, when I had my back, or versus when you were facing the client, your friend? What was the feeling, the social feeling you felt as you looked at the person and you engaged in the person, that you were social? What did it do for your energy? So you can imagine how important that social energy is to living a long, healthy, happy life with bladder cancer. Okay? Next slide, please.
Mark, while you're waiting for the next slide, I'm just going to interject because you made me think of my mantra. This is how I live. There's a saying, and it actually was on the billboard when I got to graduate school the very first day. When I got my PhD, became a community-based health educator doing what you've seen me do for 2 days. And I said, oh my God, that's my life. And the saying is this: joys shared are doubled, burdens shared are halved.
There you go.
And that's what your
There you go.
Yeah.
talk just reminded me of.
Right.
I like
That's absolutely 100%. I agree.
Okay, I'll be quiet now.
No, you can talk. Anybody can chime in at any time, as far as I'm concerned, if you have a comment or thought. So this next slide, on my website, rice.com, I'm developing what's called the Universal 8. And it's the 8 guiding principles of the world's longest lived people. And I bring it up because we have covered a lot of the principles that I am going to be covering in this newsletter that I'm just beginning the whole series. Their purpose, our why, our sense of belonging, our sense of family, our sense of social being. Next slide, please. Next slide. Our sense of the exercise we do, our happiness, where we find that, our nutrition, our eating. But the 8th is our managing stress. Next slide, please. Managing stress as the 8th principle, to me, is one of the most important, which is why I wanted to introduce this. It is one of the habits of the longest lived people in the world, managing their stress. Stress can kill. But stress can also be your friend, and I think it's important to look at both of those areas. Next slide, please. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, that's fine, that's fine. There's different kinds of stress that we are always exposed to. We're exposed to psychological stress, which is kind of self-induced. Me coming up here, I was very stressed about coming up here today. You know something, not eating enough, you're stressed. Anything we do, a car jumps out in front of you, you get stressed. A car stops suddenly in front of you, you get stressed. We have physiological stress, which is response to trauma. Your body is responding to bladder cancer. Your body is in trauma, and you have to deal with that every single day. But there also is situational stress. It is stress that we bring upon ourselves. Bladder cancer is not in itself stress. You create the stress, not the bladder cancer. If anyone wants to dispute me on that fact, please let me know. The bladder cancer is causing the physiological stress. It's not causing the situational stress. Sometimes these are acute, sometimes they're chronic. You've got to be careful it's chronic because it's there forever. Next slide, please. So when I say that you yourself are creating the stress, not the cancer, you're putting the squeeze on yourself. You're the one causing the issues going on. And stress, I said stress can kill. Stress absolutely causes diabetes and obesity. It causes heart conditions. It causes strokes. It also can cause ongoing cancer. But it's also proved that dealing with the stress can help cancer patients live a long, healthy, happy life. Next slide, please. Which brings me to the upside of stress. Stress is very, very important in our lives. Your body regenerates itself with stress. Your body lives longer with stress. Stress is something, its science proves, as I said earlier, that a little stress can extend your life. It motivates you. It gives you reason to change. It gives you that incentive to think about those impossible things that the Queen in Alice in Wonderland thinks about 6 before breakfast. So keep that in mind. Manage the stress. Yes, the exercise we're doing, the cognitive fitness, the nutritional fitness, the physical fitness, the social fitness. You have to manage your fitness, your stress. You've got to use those to pull it down. But don't discount it. Don't poo-poo it. Let it work with it a little bit. Make it part of your life. There's a book that I read which is called The Upside of Stress, and I really recommend people read it. Kelly McGonigal wrote the book The Upside of Stress. It's a wonderful book about stress and how you need it, how it works for you. Next slide, please. And before we go any further, I want to acknowledge what we're talking about today and this why and how important it is, because you guys have all read and heard the Serenity Prayer. I'm going to read it real quick. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I believe, from what I've seen, everybody in this room has the wisdom to change that. Everybody in this room can accept and change. Next slide, please. But that change doesn't instantly happen. It evolves. Our lives are a history of evolving. We look at our past, we're great at evolving, looking at our past and going through our future and looking to what it is we want to do in the future. Everything in our life moves, continuously moves. It evolves. These fitnesses, the cognitive, the nutritional, the physical, and the social, they have to evolve. I mean, Scott said you take the band in your pocket, take it with you and always use it. What's it going to take that information and use it when you leave this room? How many of you really are going to walk out of here tomorrow and start using that exercise band? Excellent, excellent. Well, if you're going to start, next slide, please. Don't do it too quickly. As Scott said, you're going to hurt yourself. Life is about 1% change. Life is about every day moving to a new goal. With bladder cancer, every day is a new thing. Every day is a new challenge. But the change can only occur 1% at a time. And please, don't save these 1% to do 7% on Saturday or Sunday. It is not going to work. Don't put off for tomorrow what you can do today. It's very, very important. But 1%. So please, use the bands a little bit every day. Make them work for you. Get those gains. Next slide, please. So, and I mentioned earlier that I wanted to reimagine the description of today's talk. Here's my suggestion. Why is it important to be physically fit? Why are you here? Is that it? Why is it important? And how could that importance be part of your everyday life? And what can you do in your daily lives to make a difference after bladder cancer diagnosis? I mean, at the end of the day, isn't that why we're here? Think about it. Next slide, please. So with all these fitnesses, with your stress management, you can rewrite the outcome of your own story. You can think of impossible things all the time. And starting right now, I believe it's the best time to think of impossible things. Next slide, please. So, what is your elevator pitch? What is your sense of purpose? What can you tell someone about yourself in 15 seconds? This term elevator pitch is not trivial. This term elevator pitch is not a cliche, which everybody says, oh, what's your elevator pitch? Your elevator pitch, think about it. You use your cognitive fitness with your elevator pitch. You're thinking, you're working. Your mind is thinking about the future, because that's what your elevator pitch is. It's your why. It's your physical fitness, your posture. You walk in the room, you are commanding respect with your posture. You're not demanding respect, you're commanding respect. You walk in, you stand tall, people like you. Your nutritional fitness is there, even with Stephanie not managing it for you. It's there because you're energized. Your mind is working. It has the energy it needs. And your social fitness is working because you're comfortable, like the stretch bands, looking at someone and saying, this is my why. This is who I am. This is why you should follow me. Remember, it's not what you're doing. It's why you're doing it. Why you're here today. Next slide, please. And I just want to say, as I finish here, when I walked in here yesterday for the first time, I was in awe at the energy and that I saw in this room. I was absolutely in awe. And it's important to make sure that you stay in touch with what you came here for, to really be who you are. Because like this lady, like this young girl in this picture, there's a whole world out there of possibilities. Bladder cancer should not prevent you from going through those doors that are open for you every single day. It's a great journey. Enjoy the journey. And all I can say is thank you so much for letting me share and be part of that journey with you. So thank you so much.
We probably have a couple minutes. There's a question in the front from Carlos for Q&A. And then remember that we will be breaking for lunch, and get your lunch as quickly as you can. Come back in. Try to sit at a different table, meet some new people.
Meet some new people.
But
be
then we do
social.
have another session that starts at 1 that I want to make sure that you're all going to want to listen to about new discoveries. But go ahead, Carlos.
Mark and Scott, thank you both for a great presentation. It was
Blocking
excellent.
the light, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I totally agree with you on the importance of exercise. And I just want to share that I'm fortunate enough to be a member of a team called SwimMac, where I practice swimming in Charlotte, North Carolina. And you touched on the emotional, the social, the physical, and the cognitive. And I just want to share that the importance of joining a team, a group that works out is so important because practicing with this team, which I do 3 times a week, it improves me physically. I watch my nutrition as a result of working out. And cognitively, it gives me more oxygen, and it helps me think. It reduces stress. Exercise reduces stress, which leads to a cognitive improvement, I feel.
Well, that's what-
And also, it's part of a great social network. If people aren't familiar with the National Senior Games, that's a great organization that participates in a wide variety of sports, is broken into 5-year age groups starting at 50. So you have 50 to 55, 55 to 60, et cetera. And it's a great way to engage. It gives you, what it does, it gives me, personally, it gives me a goal to work towards in exercise. And it's a wonderful thing, and I really firmly believe that it helped me in my cancer journey. It helped me, it reduces my risk of recurrence. I firmly believe that. So thank you again.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions for either of our speakers, Scott or Mark? Again, I keep saying, meet people. This is your chance. This is your chance
This
to
is your
socialize.
social-
When you're
socialize.
exercising with somebody else, can't help it. You got to smile. You're looking at somebody and you're doing something a little goofy. You got to smile and make those connections. This is
Make
a
them.
great opportunity.
And I'd like to comment real quick on some of the stuff Carlos said. In December, I'm taking over the National Masters News Magazine for track and field. You have Masters track and field, just like you have Masters swimming, and you have senior games. There's a growing number of opportunities for us to participate, and absolutely, the benefits of it are the camaraderie and the community that you have and support. And Carlos, I'm sure have you seen, so many people at some age are overcoming some challenge. And there's support in that. It makes it a lot of fun. And having that track meet or that cycling meet or that senior games out on the horizon, that's a pretty powerful motivator to do a little exercise, right? I mean, I don't hang out at Dunkin' Donuts if I have, a track meet coming up in a month, right? So great points you made.
I'd like to add on that because Carlos is fit and has always been fit. Okay, so it's like I don't listen to him anymore. But I miss him by the way. But there's badminton, there's ease, there's shuffleboard. I mean, it's not just running and swimming. There's a lot of opportunities. If there's an inkling of things you want to do, and there's also the arts with senior games. So if you're interested in the arts, so there's a large, huge community. And I'm not sure of the websites and stuff, but it's nice for the involvement, for the camaraderie, for the people, and that enjoy the things that you like to do. So even if it's not running or swimming or discus or whatever you do your track and field things, there's something for everyone. Not for me. I tried pickleball, I fell.
What I will add on that is dance. My wife says dance is fantastic. It's one of the best things you can do because it incorporates your mind and your body in the coordination. So obviously, as you saw by my very coordinated display of the chicken salsa dance. But no, seriously, dance is a great activity.
On that subject, Most of the people in the room know me as what?
And the dancer.
The dancer. So Stephanie wrote about me in dancing. So I started ballroom dancing after I came back from Iraq. So I'm an old lady right now, but I have a friend that just had bladder cancer at 84. He's 86. He competes in ballroom dancing, and he does 50 more heats than I ever do, and just has the best time. There's social dancing, so salsa, merengue. There's what I do, which is ballroom dancing. So you do waltz and tango with an attitude that I have, apparently. And rumba and all these dances, according to a neurologist, it is one of the best things you can do to push back a little bit of Alzheimer's. You're social with somebody. I have a really good-looking teacher, but I dance with everyone. And you're learning steps. You're doing exercise, and you don't realize you're really working out until you get off the floor and you go, oh, my God. Yeah. But it's just, there's no age limitations to go out dancing. And there are so many places you can go, any community. Whenever I travel, I can usually find a ballroom somewhere.
And it doesn't have to be competitive. You can just do
No,
it for fun.
social dancing is where I started. And you go to a group class and you learn to merengue. If you can march, you can merengue. So it's just, oh, somebody can merengue right here. But it's not about being competitive. It's just about having fun. And you don't realize how much of a workout it is, and it gets you out of the house. So I'd say try it.
Do it for you. Okay, we have time for one last question.
Should I use the mic or my voice?
The
Did
mic
he
is
had a
coming.
question also? We had one more question.
Sneaking in there.
Yeah, we had one more question.
Thank you. This is not really a question, it's more of a statement. I urge everybody in this room to volunteer, not just within the cancer community or the bladder cancer community, but for anything that you enjoy doing. I think, as was noted during your presentation, I'm an umpire now in my retirement. And those of you who are parents of children, it's miserable. But I've gotten myself involved. I'm now 9 years with the Miracle League, which is a modified form of baseball played on a specially designed field for kids and young adults who have disabilities of one sort or another. Volunteer for the Paralympics. It's just the best. You will get such a charge out of being there every week or however often it takes place. And there is such a huge need for volunteers. And there's something out there for everybody, whether it's volunteering at a dance hall or wherever. Volunteer, you'll feel great about it. Thank you.
It's being social. It's being in a community. So, any final words before we
I
break
think we
for
had
lunch?
one more question out there. Did you have?
I don't so much have a question as we have the folks up front here. If you're inactive now, find a way to get active. If no matter what you want to do, even if it's to walk to the post box and back every day, you'll find the next thing, you'll be at the neighbor's next driveway because you'll build up your strength. Contact your local running store. They have walking groups. I know mine does. Go to the Y, go to any fitness facility and find out. It doesn't matter if you're not fit or if you're fit. Get out there. Somebody is willing to help you, believe it or not. Try it. You'll like it.
All right.
Yeah, perfect.
I just want to say one last thing. Everything we've talked about, science proves that what we've talked about today will help with your bladder cancer and living a long, healthy, happy life. It's proven scientifically.
And I'd like to leave with, let's make it fun. Be
But make
light
it
about
fun.
it, make it fun,
Make it
don't
fun.
overcomplicate it. And it does seem like that social fitness, boy, that's the common thread to get you started, and it's also the reward in everything else you do. So I think it's fantastic. We certainly appreciate everybody being here
Thank
and
you so much.
participating. And I want to see you umpiring the game with the resistance band in your hand. Photos, please.
Just couldn't do it now because I'm in the process of probably having surgery.
All right.
Okay, yeah.
Well,
That's
it's
smart,
time
that's
to
smart.
feed you all again. Please go get your lunch and come on back. And thank you all so much. This was awesome.